Good evening. It's time for Monday Night Live. Where is everybody? Hey, Lauren, good to see you. Girls Who Ride. Hey, Mel. Good to see you guys. I'm just going to give people time to figure out I'm live. Liana. Marissa. Good to see you, man. Hopefully this will be a fun night. So I'm going to wait for a while and Katie. Yes, Katie, you can type your comments of your first ride or race, Katie. I'm talking to you right now. I just saw your text message. You can type it. I'll read it for you, okay? Hey, Ariel, good to see you, man. For those of you who don't know, Katie is a new mama, so she's taking care of her baby right now. All right, Lone Husky, Bradley, look at y'all joining in. Nice, I like it. PJ, there's my man, PJ. It's good to see you guys. I hope everybody's doing well. PJ, I hope you and Liana are feeling so much better and are recovered. Just be careful. Let your body continue to heal, okay? Oh, and look at this. Ronda Rousey just started a live video too. Man, does she not know that Monday Night Live is on? How's she... Ronda Rousey. Claw, good to see you. Lance, good to see you too, man. I hope Meredith is around. JC. I know. Shh. Y'all don't talk about JC. She's at work. Shh. It's all good. So tonight we are doing... Laura, good to see you, man. I'm glad you're here. We are doing first race stories or first ride stories, whether it's 2 wheels, 4 wheels, street, dirt, trials, flat track, enduro, motocross, you name it, whatever. We're going to talk about our first ride experiences of some kind here tonight. So I'm fixing to push a button that I've never pushed before, so I don't know what this means. So we'll see what happens here when I push this. I have no idea what I just did. Oh, man, Laura's already requested to do her story first. Dang, Laura, I was going to let some people, get online before they start sharing stories. Leslie, good to see you, man. Again, we're going to share our first race stories. And since Katie's doing the mama thing, I'm going to read hers right now for y'all. So this is from Katie. So one of my first races was the Graham Arena Cross. I was 9 years old on a Honda XR100 and the only girl racer. They ended up putting me with the little 50 riders. You won't believe it, but I won. I will too believe it. I've met you, Katie, and I know your roots. Your mama was a horse racer too. So that's awesome. That's pretty cool. XR100, great little bikes. So I will tell you my first story. Then Laura, I know you've got kiddos to take care of. Then I'll bring you on. The plan tonight is to have you guys request, and you can request one of 2 ways. You can back out and then come back in, and as soon as you come back in, the request pops up and you hit it, and you can request to be in it, and then I accept it. Also, there are the double smiley faces down here. I'm assuming that's requesting to be in the live as well. I'm going to give you 5 minutes max to tell your story. I don't even think for some of you it's going to take that long. But I thought it would be fun to go back to those first days, especially for those folks who are just beginning and trying to feel comfortable on a bike. And, because I hear a lot from especially women of... I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want anybody to laugh at me. I don't want anybody to make fun of me. Well, believe me, we've all been where every beginner is. And that's why I want to share these stories right now. because, learning to do the clutch and everything else all at the same time, and gas and balance and brake and throttle and rear brake, it's a lot. So I will tell you my first ride story, because to be honest, the only thing I remember about my first race stories is nothing. I don't really remember. But my first ride story ever, and I'm in dirt bike years, I'm older than dirt. But I had the Briggs & Stratton lawnmower engine, ripcord, pull, start mini bike. And I only had a rear brake. I don't think I had a front brake. And the rear brake was a metal shoe that was bent. It was curved, and it would push against the rear tire. And that was your rear brake. And it also wore the tire out pretty quickly, too. So I got the famous, 20-second lesson. Here's your throttle. Here's your brake. Now go. And at least I could ride a bicycle, so I had balance. Throttle took off. Of course, I got a whole handful of throttle, because you hit the throttle and then you go back like this and whatnot. I went straight for the garage. We lived in a duplex back then. And this was in Milwaukee. And I ran into the wheelbarrow and the back end of our landlady's daughter's Camaro. That's what I did the first time I rode. Yeah, that was fun. That's about all I remember there. It was scary because there's too many things that, at that point you're thinking about everything. It hasn't become muscle memory at all. So, and it's all delayed reaction. By the time you realize you have to hit the brake, it's too late. My first race stories, I can tell you that my first race was at Mosher Valley Night Track, and they were having, I'm sure they called it Powder Puff that night. Y'all know how I feel about the word Powder Puff. But Nathan, good to see you. Lauren, Dar, good to see you guys too. Noah, yes. My mom was on an XR80, I think, that my dad had bought and kind of cleaned up and restored and painted the tank and stuff. So I borrowed Randall Tartar's XR. And I don't think it was a 100 yet. I think that was also an 80. This would have been back in 1982, so I'm sure some of you guys who know your XRs can correct me on the years and everything, and I'm totally cool with that. But, the picture that I posted of my first race, I'm in jeans, got the open face helmet, got the Scott all-purpose goggles that you could, use for whatever. Hey, Allie. And so I'm pretty sure my first race was Mosher Valley Night Track Motocross. I don't know how I finished. I don't remember. Sadly, I've had a few concussions since then. So there are some parts of my career I just don't really remember very well anymore. And then my first cross-country race, which I've told you all about before, was on my mom's DR100. And we raced Oak Hill back in the day before Oak Hill became a premier motocross track. I mean, they still had the motocross track, but it wasn't as big as it is now. And I promptly crashed, and I finished the race, but I ripped the number plate headlight off. Dad put it back on. Rebel Miner, awesome to see you, dude. Dad put it back on, and then we raced Rocky Ridge 2 weeks later, ripped that headlight right back off again, and I hit rocks and fell on stuff, and that was when I said, Dad, I need a real race bike. And I will tell you this one other story. He had me ride his XR200 that he was so very proud of. He came home, he had come home with an XR200 and a CR80, always in the food shack. Oh, Laura, that's funny. And he was so proud of his XR, and he wanted me to ride it. So I took it for a lap at Rocky Ridge on an off weekend. And the seat was so cushy, and the suspension was so, Cadillac-y. And I came back from it, and I was like, And Dad was all, well, what'd you think? What'd you think? And I was like, well, it was fun to play on, but I wouldn't want to race one. I always call them boat anchors. He was heartbroken and crushed when I said that. So, yeah. But, I have a love affair with two strokes anyway. All right, you guys, don't start picking on each other. This is a family channel. Yes, Nathan used to race. He's working now. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, so we're going to go with Laura first. So here's what we're going to do. When I see a request pop up, I'm going to cut off whoever is talking. So you better get your story straight. And then bring the next person on. And then I'm going to kick you off and bring the next person on. But I want us all to share our first race or first ride stories, okay? So just remember that there are so many people that want to ride that they need to hear these stories so that they have the confidence and they know that it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to stall. Y'all, I still stall trying to get out of camp, and occasionally I still fall over before I get out of camp. So anyway, tell your story, be brave, share your truth, man, and let's get going. Let's start sharing these stories. All right, let's see. All right, I'm right now, so come on with you. And then I saw Lance's request was next. It's the two faces in the bottom right down there, you guys. Hit your request, and I'll bring you in. All of y'all can make your requests right now, and then I can just hit the button and bring you in. Now, Laura lives in the middle of nowhere in Louisiana, so this may take her a moment or two to get her connection and whatnot. So let's hope that. Come on, Laura. Geez, I will also tell you this: my first season racing, first 2 seasons, I had a knack for crashing and bending every pair of handlebars I had. And back then they were steel. So, and I would bend them to the point where, and you couldn't bend them back. And so we'd have to replace them. My dad, he yelled at me every time he had to replace my handlebars. I don't know where Laura is. I'm trying to get her here. She's trying. All right, Laura, in the meantime, I'm going to bring somebody else on, okay? Darwin, you're at the top of the list, so I'm bringing you in, man. Whoever's at the top gets to come in. All right, Dar, you declined? Ouch. All right, here we go. Laura and Kyler. All right, let's see. View. All right, Laura and Kyler. I'm bringing you in, Laura. Trying again. Laura's unable to join. Dang it, I'm heartbroken over this. All right, Allie, you're up. You're at the top of the list. Leslie, be ready. You're after Allie. Dar, I can't believe you chickened out on me. Okay, no, just hit the happy faces down at the bottom. I'll bring you in.
What's
Allie,
up?
what's
Am
up?
I the first one?
Well, you're the first one that's been able to get through. So,
okay, cool.
What are you going to tell us? First race or first ride story?
First, I'll tell first race story because I grew up, like when I was probably 7, we started riding as a family, like trail riding. And I don't know if you remember Ronnie Donald. I'm sure you remember Ronnie Donald. He was.
Who doesn't remember Ronnie Donald?
Yeah. So he worked with my parents. I don't know, work wise, and he invited us to go out to a race, and I was on my little XR50. And that's what we used to trail ride and stuff. So I went out there and rode the K8 class. And yeah. And I was terrified, like literally. And that's probably the biggest thing that even talking to girls like in a dealership and stuff like that, that they're terrified. They're like, no, I'm never going to race. I'm never going to race. But it's terrifying for anybody, like the first time, because I remember how scared I was. And I think, so I was sitting on the line and I was crying. Like crying.
Oh, no.
Like for real crying. And my mom was there, and my mom rode too. My mom raced, or grew up racing with me. So she was there, and she hadn't raced yet because the Pee-wees race on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So she was sitting there watching me cry, and she said, okay, Allie, or I was Alex back then. Call me Alex. Alex, if you do it, then I'll do it. And I said, okay. And like that's honestly what made me do it, was that if I was going to do it, then she was going to do it. So it was just the start. Like that's the hardest part to get past.
Yeah.
The starting, and then it was just a trail ride. And guess what place I got?
First.
I got 13th.
13.
Which is my number, so it's okay. Even though it's a terrible place. I just trail rode though. So yeah, I mean 13th place, and like, I mean, that's, I don't know how many people were there, how many little kids were there, but yeah. So then my mom would not have done it had I not done it. And it's just like, it's literally just getting past that first. I mean, I know I was 7 or 8 years old or whatever, but it's just getting past that first.
The jitters.
The first start, yeah. I mean, I don't think the jitters and the nervous stuff ever goes away, but you just know that it's just a start. And now it's like, after I quit for 2 years or whatever, I quit racing or riding at all. And I thought that when I was going to go back, I knew I would go back riding eventually, but I thought it would just be riding.
Yeah.
And then I realized that the start is actually what I wanted. Like, that's what
adrenaline
I missed, the adrenaline of, like, you get nervous, but it's the adrenaline of going into that first corner. Like, I don't even remember it because there's so much adrenaline going, you know?
Right.
So.
Well, awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I'm kicking you out. We're going for the next person. Love you.
Love you.
All right. Let's see. We're moving Allie. All right. Let's see who's next up. I'm trying. Come on, button. All right. Leslie, I told you were up next. So you're up. Dar, you're after Leslie. Lance, you're after Dar. All right. Leslie, join us. Y'all, several of these people I have known for a long, long time. I've known Allie since she first started. I've known Leslie for, God, I don't know how long.
Hi, guys.
Leslie. All right. So what are you going to give us? First ride or first race story?
I think we'll start with the first race story.
Okay.
Hope you guys can hear me okay. Give me a thumbs up.
Yep, I can.
All I remember is my little XR100. This had to have been kind of mid-'80s when we first started. I think I was probably only riding for about a year at that time. Mm-hmm. We had a metal gas tank, no suspension. Love those. Yeah. And I remember it being Oak Hill because it was all sand and whoops. Like, that's all the track was.
Yeah,
the motocross track was there, but it really was just deep sand and a couple little hills. It really wasn't anything spectacular.
It was kind of a dug-in pit, is what
it was.
Yes,
it was like a. Yeah. It was like a big pit, a sand pit. And my stepmother raced. We only had 3 classes at that time. The ladies all raced together. There weren't ladies, women's. Yep. And so it was just 3 ladies classes, I think amateur and maybe expert. I don't even know if we had an intermediate at that time.
When we first split off, it was just amateur expert. It took a while.
I think that's all it was. I think that's all it was. And so my stepmother raced as well. She had been racing for maybe a year at that point. She pretty much followed me around that whole race, and your mother as well was cheering for me, Miss Susie.
Yep.
And I remember when I finally made it through the checkered flag, which I thought was going to take forever because I was going so slow in all of that sand and had to pick my bike up numerous times. I got a hug from my stepmother. My dad was there at the finish line to hug me. Susie gave me a big high five and a congratulations.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, just a sense of accomplishment. Like, wow, I did this. And honestly, ladies, there's nothing to be scared of. We all have crashes. We have some close calls. I mean, I had a few this weekend at Twin Hills, little scary moments, but you know, like I tell people, just get back up, ride. I mean, the more time you're on your seat, the more you're learning and you get better. You get better. I was doing some rock training this weekend.
And you know, the cool thing too is that hug, that finish line hug. Those are the best hugs, finish line hugs.
Oh, I know. I have never quit a race ever. I mean, I've broken things off my bike. I've hurt myself, but I got back up and I rode. And I mean, I finished Santa last year with a broken toe and my toenail was barely hanging on. And it's like, I want to finish. I'm not going to quit. And if that's your motivation, is don't quit. We all start falling and picking up our bikes. We all start that way, even the little ones.
If we have time at the end, hang around. I want to hear your perspective from Tyler's first race when he started racing, okay?
Oh, yes. Okay.
All right,
All
so I'm
right.
going to kick you off and go for Dar next. Thanks,
Okay.
Leslie.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Dar, you're coming up. All right, Dar is next. After Dar is Lance, then Sophie and Ashley. Here we go. Dar, come on in, man. And can you guys hear me when I'm saying who's next in the lineup? Sir, AKA, damn it. I see you there. Lampright, what's up? Dar, did you get yeah, Dar's connecting, I think. Dirt Fam, what up? All right, Dar is on. Hey, Lauren Powell, you better click that button to get in. Dar is on, I think she's on West Coast, California. Okay, Dar, we'll come back to you. Okay, I'll get you. It might just be the connection. All right, so I'm coming back through. Lance, you're up, man. Get ready. Y'all better have your stories ready. We going. At least I hope, anyway. Oh, okay, Laura, I'll get you too. Lance,
What's up?
y'all say hi to Sasquatch.
Yeah, and Cash. You say hi to Cash.
Hey, Cash. Cash, a sweet pupper.
Yeah, Meredith won't be on tonight. She went to see her grandparents. She's nursing a couple of injuries.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah, come up short on the double that she jumped a bunch.
Again.
Yeah. I was like you. I started out on the little Briggs and Stratton mini bike.
Yep.
And I got my first bike, actual bike. I was in third grade at Jack Barnett's Honda in Denison.
Oh, Jack Barnett. Yep.
79 XR80. That's why I drooled over Joe's bike. And I grew up riding at Munster, and then we decided to start racing in '81, and that would have put me at, let's see, I don't know, fourth, fifth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a '81 KX80, and I used to not be so big, and I was more athletic, so it worked better. But my very
I'm not
first
saying
race,
a word, brother.
my very first race, there was probably 25. They had an 80 mini and an 80 junior class.
Was this motocross or cross country?
It was motocross. So we had a little track up here called Sandy Creek. I don't know if it wouldn't open but a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And I took off. I was good. I didn't have the whole shot, but I was in second, and the guy that was coming up would have been in third to pass me, wheelied and took me out.
Oh.
And then whoever else was in line behind us all ended up on top of me. I was pinned down under a pile of bikes. That was my first experience.
Oh, my. So let me ask you this. Was that first moto?
Yes. First race ever.
Did you line up for second moto?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was banged up.
How sore were you the next day? Do you remember?
It was horrible. And I ended up, that was my first season, and I finished fifth for the overall. So out of my first season. And then we ran one more, and then I just rode for fun up until about, about 90. Then I got married, started a family. And I thought I was done riding up until Meredith started riding.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept putting off buying a bike. And finally, Don showed up at the races and said, "You're riding today," and dug up the 520.
You know what? You can only ignore that itch for so long.
I don't do peer pressure real good. I've actually, because of my daughter, I did sign up, and I got a number for this year. I'm not going to race much, but I'm going to try to complete 2 or 3, just finish. And that's really it, just for fun.
There you go. That's what it's all about, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. I'm kicking you off. We're going to the next one. Thanks, brother. All right. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's see. Who else we got next in the lineup here? All right. Let's try Dar again. Let's see if Dar can get through this time. Darwin, you're up. And I saw Ashley and Dar. All right. Ashley, you're up. Then Sophie, you're next. All right. And then I see a lot of people I know who need to ask to get on here. Lauren Powell, Yeah, some of y'all other people. We're waiting on Ashley Giles right now, and then Sophie. Dara, I don't know what's going on. Ashley! So, just so y'all know, I have known Ashley. Her picture was one of the ones I posted. Hey, Bradley. From being a peewee, like on a PW 50, I guess it was. So, and how old are you now, Ash?
I'm about to be 23.
Okay, so are we doing first ride or first race?
First race.
All right.
I'll kind of talk about that. I was 5, like that picture I posted. I was 5 when I did my first race. It was a Toro race on a PW 50. And I don't remember much from it, but I just I asked my parents like what happened and stuff, and then my dad said that I definitely got the whole shot, but I didn't turn. So I got the whole shot like my whole 50 career, but I never turned. Like I would just go straight.
Because that was your race, man. You're going straight.
Yeah.
Who cares about that first turn?
And then I raced a few of them, and then I remember same year as a 50, my very first race that I won. I remember coming through the chute and looking and see a 1 because back then they had the counter.
Yeah.
And then I looked at my dad and he was crying.
Aww.
And then I started crying because I was 5, and then I was like, "Why are you crying, Dad?" And he's like, "You won."
Yeah, just so y'all know, her dad, Bert, he's part of SLM Racing, but Bert and I go back to our KTM days in Les's shop and Bull Taco KTM. So I knew Bert long before he ever even met Ashley's mama. So, and does Bradley have a story he wants to share? Hi, Bradley.
Yeah, I've got a story.
All right, we doing first race or first ride?
For first race would be more interesting.
Okay, shoot.
So my first race, my uncle Bubba, he first brought me out. I was on an 02 KX85. Went out to a TCCRA Bells.
Oh Lord, Bells.
Back in 08.
Yeah.
Which I believe may or may not have been the last Bells. But so we got there on Friday. I go out, take a lap, my first lap. Me being me, I was excited. Didn't check gas. Got halfway through the first lap, run out of gas. So, I had to push my bike back.
Oh, you had the walk of shame.
Yeah. That was Bubba's way of teaching me a lesson to always check my gas. But so I go out, do a couple laps on Friday, and then Saturday comes around. I do about 12 laps on Saturday. Just
of course.
I'm excited. It's somewhere else to ride. I was excited.
And you were young.
That night came, and it just became a turd floater.
I rode that. Oh my gosh, yes, I rode that race. Oh my God.
So the pro expert race was first, and they couldn't make it around the whole lap without the mud mushroom and stopping their wheel between the fork tubes.
If I remember correctly, that was where Eric Hess put the
screws in the tires.
Sheet metal screws in his tires, and he's the only one who made a whole lap around, even over the pros. And yeah, that was gnarly.
That's when they made it illegal.
Yes. So so then they moved us, the Minis ladies. They moved us to
the Pee-wee track,
and that
I made.
Oh my gosh!
I made one complete lap. Second lap, my bike started overheating. I started smoking, so I freaked out. I killed it. I laid it down, and I pretty much just walked around until I found Bubba and told him. So I thought I broke my bike, so I came over there, told him my bike broke, and he went over there, picked it up, started it, and he said, "Ride it back to camp." And that was very hard for my first race. So
I tell you what.
But I came back for the next one at the Terrell Pit.
Oh yeah. You know,
And
even as an experienced rider, that was just because it had quit raining. It would have been, and it was that black
the
dirt.
black gumbo.
If it had stayed raining, it would have stayed slick and slung off. But man, it just gumboed up and caked.
It was very, very hard, especially for a first race.
Oh yeah.
That was my first mud adventure ever, and first track I didn't even know.
You talk about baptism by muddy fire, right?
Yeah, so that was my first race. It was hectic, but I definitely respect it now.
Yeah.
And it was interesting.
That's awesome. All right, guys, thanks for sharing. I got to kick you off and go to the next. Love you. Miss you. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's see who's up next. All right. Sophie. Sophie, I hope you're ready. Laura, you got to send your request in again. All right. All right, Dar, I'll get you next time. Waiting for Sophie. All right. Hey,
Hi.
Sophie. Now, guys, I don't know Sophie. So, Sophie, you're going to have to tell us, are we going first race, first ride?
Like, we're going to go first race.
Okay. And what kind of racing?
Motocross.
Motocross. All right. Shoot. How old were you?
I was about 7. And I was really nervous. It was first time ever being on a gate, anything. I'd been on the track a couple times for practice and end up, riding my bike up to the gate. And I was so nervous that I kind of ran into the gate right away as I was pulling in.
Yeah.
And of course, the little boy next to me just looks me up and down and goes, "Oh, please." Like, this girl's coming up to the gate. And I'm like, well, if I wasn't nervous before, I am now. But in a way, it kind of got me going a little bit.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the gate drops, pulled the whole shot on him. And that's when I think I realized, I'm like, I think I'm going to like this sport, beating the boys. That's for sure.
And you're like, that's how you do that.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
that
awesome.
kind of boost of confidence got me going. I'm like, I'm going to keep doing this, I think.
So how'd that moto go? Did you hold it or did you finish first?
I think I ended up crashing like last lap. But I think I pulled off still with a smile on my face because I was like, I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to beat all these boys.
Heck yeah. And because that's, the light bulb goes off. You're like, oh, I can do this.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing, when the guys give you the side eye. And I still experience that now. I'm 55. And occasionally I'll pull up on the line in the guys' class and I'll have some guy just flip out. He's like, "Oh my God, my wife's here. You can't beat me. My wife is here." And I'm like, "Oh, geez, just breathe, Bubba. I just want to walk tomorrow."
Yeah. Sometimes the guys, like, they give you credit. They're like, "Dang, I got beat by a girl." And sometimes they just get a little too salty about it. But, you just got to ride your own race and, keep looking forward.
Awesome.
Don't care about the ponytail in the back.
There you go. So how long have you been racing then?
So I've been racing, I'm about to be 23 in June, and I've been racing since I was 7, but I got my first dirt bike when I was 3, and I've been, had those training wheels on there, was on a dirt bike before I was on a regular bicycle.
There
so
you go.
kind of
I love it.
Been in it
awesome.
from the beginning.
Oh man, Sophie, thanks for popping in and sharing. That's an awesome story. I love it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Show you. All right, take care. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Stay safe.
You too.
Thanks. All right, let's see who's next up. Man, we just grinding them out. Having a good time here. All right, so here's what I got. I got Dar, Claw, Liana, and Laura. All right, Dar, you ready? We're going to try you again. Lauren Powell, you better push that button at some point. Waiting on Dar. Y'all, this is a good time. First rate. It keeps declining you, Dar. All right. Okay. I don't know what's going on, Dar. Laura and Kyler, you guys are up because I know you've been on for a while. Thanks for coming in, Sophie. Really enjoyed it. Dar, I don't know what's going on. There's my girl, Laura. Y'all, just so
Hey, LJ.
Hey, girl. All right, just a little quick background here because, like I said, I'm connected to a lot of these folks that are popping in. So I put the pressure on everybody today to make sure they're going tonight. But Laura's dad owns probably my favorite property and to ride, which is out in Boyd. And she was on our Gutbuster 24 team this
Yeah,
last
woo!
weekend. Woo, high five. So, what are you going to give us? First ride, first race story.
I'm going to give you the first race, which is not that different from my first ride.
Okay.
Okay, I had about the 15-second tutorial like you did. Here's this.
Yep.
But I had a PW50 when I was little, and then I outgrew that, and my dad would never buy me another bike. And so when I was 25, I bought a TTR 125 because I'd always said, I can do this, and he didn't think I was really interested. So it's 25, get this bike. Of course, he's like, I've never shifted, you know.
Yeah.
Here's the shifting, here's whatever. And I really think like 3 weeks later, I signed up for my first race. And I still didn't know what I was doing. And I just wanted to beat one person. Like, I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have the gear. I was wearing my dad's chest protector. We get there, and my dad races first. It was Bonita, okay?
Oh,
Like,
Bonita,
land of a million
the
boots.
sand pit.
Right. And so my dad's going to race first, and I don't know anybody. Like, I don't know one single soul except for my dad. And he crashes and gets taken to the hospital in Nakona. And he's in the hospital, like he's in the ambulance, and he's like, I still want you to race. So I'm like, okay. We happen to park next to Taz and Hazen.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So they show me where to go to start.
Yeah.
And then Taz comes over to me on the line, and she's like, P.S., your chest protector's on backwards. Yeah. So I turn it around. Right. No one's there. My dad's not there. I don't know what I'm doing. It's awful. And so I take off, and I beat one person because she DNF'd, and I didn't care. I was so happy. And then Taz and Hazen had to help me load everything up, and I had to go to Nakona and pick my dad up from the hospital.
And that was when your mom started to hate all of us.
No, I think she hated racing long before that. My dad had raced a million times before that.
That is freaking awesome. I love that. Oh, my God.
So, yeah, I looked like a total idiot my first race. But it didn't matter. I kept coming back.
Well, just on a side note, especially in sci-fi dramas, they like to draw from motocross equipment for their protective gear. And
Right.
I don't remember what I was watching, but they were using chest protectors, and the actors had them on backwards.
Just like me. And, you know, nobody told them.
Yeah, but this was like less than 5 years ago. And I'm like, oh, come on. If you're going to use our gear, wear it correctly.
Put it on right. Yeah.
Right. But your dad went to the hospital, so it's okay. You have a reason.
For sure. I had no idea what I was doing. I'd never worn a chest protector before.
There you go. Girl, thank you for popping in. I missed
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
We definitely got to ride together again, okay?
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Bye, girl.
Bye. All right. Let me see. Who else am I picking on tonight? This is fun. All right. Claw. It's Claw, Liana, and then Lauren Powell. Lauren Siebert, I might be picking on you. All right. Claw is going to come in with us. Claw has been in and out of riding. She was riding in the 80s when I was, but I'm not so sure that our paths ever directly crossed. So, but she's getting back into it now. And we're waiting. And she lives over in Nowhere Land outside of Dallas. So I don't know if she's got a good enough signal to get in or not. Instagram requires a pretty strong signal here. Let me see. Nathan Pogue, why have you not hit the button yet? You told me you would do this. I'm holding you to it, Nathan Pogue. Hello, Cheryl. Hello, Tyler. I'm going to scroll through. Let me see. Dar, I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry it hadn't been able to go through. Eric, I see you, Eric. You better get on here. Big Spence, CC Carly, guys. Nice to see y'all. Ryan, official KT217. All right, so Claw can't seem to get on right now, so I'm going to go to the next one. We'll try again in a minute. Let me see. Is Liana? Bringing Liana in. Y'all, Liana is up there in New York. She is the reason that I road tripped to New York last March, to be with her and make up to mud in her segment from Supercross. So, Miss Liana, what are you going to give us? First ride, first race?
First race.
And by the way, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
All right, bring it on. First race. What do you got?
So I just started working in a shop, and my mentor, like I was an apprentice, and my mentor, his name was Joe, and he was like big into racing. He would race everything. And one day someone came to the shop and gave us like flyers for this flat track race in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a vintage race, and he had vintage bikes. So like he was going to ride his vintage Harley Sportster, and then I was going to ride his vintage RM80. So that's the picture of me on the
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So we thought it was vintage, but then we ended up going there, and everyone was on like their own bikes, and it was just one vintage class.
Oh.
So that's how much I knew about racing back then.
Yeah.
So I was up against a girl on like a normal 450, and I was on this RM80. I raced the women's class, and it was just me and that girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so scared because, like, you know, an 80 and a 450, there's no way. So, yeah, I just went out and did it. But it was, like, really fun. And, I mean, ever since then, it was like the racing bug bit me. So,
Yeah.
stop.
All right. So I know you've done motocross as well as flat track. Which one do you like better, or do you like them both for different reasons? I'm just curious.
I would say probably flat track, just because jumping scares me in motocross sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I got more comfortable with that, I probably would end up liking that better, maybe. I don't know. But flat track is really fun. And then ever since I started doing the Flat Out Friday in Milwaukee, I just got hooked with that because it's crazy. The adrenaline you get from there. It's like a giant stadium and so many people and a bunch of girls on Sportsters. It's awesome.
That sounds really freaking cool.
Yeah, I would say my favorite, though, is like trails and off-road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, I've never had the opportunity to flat track, and I'm not sure if I wanna. You know, when we were at Walden, we had the chance to ice ride on the ice, and I was just like, no. If they'd have let me do it on, didn't they have a 80? I think.
Yeah, I thought so, or maybe a 150.
Yeah, and I wanted to be on the smaller bike, but they said it didn't have any studs on it.
Oh, yeah.
Tires. And so I didn't want to be on the bigger bike. It was a 250 or whatever. I was like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I've done that, like, I think twice before.
Yeah.
But I got to ride on a stud, like one with stud tires, and it hooks up so good. Like, you definitely have to try it.
Awesome. Well, you look like you're feeling better.
Definitely.
Good. All right. Well, I will catch you in our chat. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Stay safe.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Talk to you later, all right? Bye. All right, let's see. Who am I picking on next? Who did I say was next here? Let's see. Lauren Powell. Then we're going to try Dar. We'll go with Claw, Lauren Siebert, Nathan Pogue. You are in the queue, man. Lauren Powell, here we go. Pow, pow. Lauren's another one of my BBs. I have known Lauren since, I don't know, 5 or 6, maybe. Something like that.
I was pretty little.
So I've known her for a long time, too. We go way, way back. But what are you going to give us? First race or first ride?
So I'll do first race.
Okay.
It was at Waco with the Waco
Eagles. The Waco Eagles. Yep.
Yeah, so my stepdad lined up my brother and I on little metal gas tank XR50s.
Was it Doug?
Yeah, it was Doug.
Okay.
I think we had like 3 hours total time riding them at Marshall Creek. Let's see. They wouldn't start us in front of the gates, so they wanted us to go over the gates, which didn't work. So I think I fell 6 inches into the race.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Oh, no.
I think Warwick ended up beating me, so I had to listen to that the whole way home.
Right.
But it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
It was very cold out, and it was all right. But I do remember he had to bribe us to actually start with our class. For like 5 years, we had to get, okay, if you do this, you'll get a new pair of boots. Okay.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. That's funny. Dang. You know, I have visions, because especially when you're starting in a gate, how it gets dug out.
Yeah.
And when you're on a full size bike, for me, when it gets dug out, I'm like, cool, I can touch the ground. But when you're on a Pee-wee, it's like trying to go up and over that gate, and then your feet fly, and then you turn into the ultimate bobbleheads, noodle bobbleheads.
And it was the winter series, so they didn't really prep it, or
yeah,
I don't think they really cared that the little kids were out there, and it was moms freaking out, screaming, and dropping the recorder or the camcorder with the cap still on it, and which she did for the entire time I raced. But
so, how long was it before Doug didn't have to bribe you? I think that's funny to actually want to race.
And I think we were probably 12 or 13. I mean, I remember Warwick would get he got that stupid little blinky fin that you could put on your helmet.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting the little Woody Woodpecker graphics.
Yes, I remember.
But it had to have been 02, because instead of holding the checkered flag, he was holding the American flag.
Oh, yeah.
So those were some of my bribes that I got. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
No.
If you want new gear, don't do something and bribe it from your parents, is what I learned.
You know, one of the favorite things I remember about your mom is when we had a really gnarly mud race, and she was officer, and she just had this look on her face, and we're all just loving it. She's like, I did not sign up for this.
Yeah, that sounds like Margarita.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like you throw a cat out in the rain. That was your mom in the mud. So
yeah. She hated blowing the siren for the Pee-wee race. So I always had to go and make sure I wasn't practicing so that I could go drive the siren around.
Another side note, I'm trying to keep everybody short, but I will tell y'all that I got in trouble with Lauren's mom because I took Lauren for a lap, and her mother blames me for all of a sudden after that, Lauren started jumping and going fast. Well, if you know LJ don't jump. I mean, I might be quick, but yeah, her mom blamed that on me for years. So, you know.
There's worse things I've blamed on you.
We'll talk about that later. Also. All right. I miss you, and I want to see you before you leave if we can. So stay safe, and thank you for all you do for us, y'all. Lauren's in the Air Force, and she's been protecting us for quite a while. So thank you. Love you.
Love you.
I will talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. Who else am I picking on? Who did I say was next? Claw. Claw, are you next? That's where we're going. We got Claw, Dar, Lauren, and Nathan Pogue. Woo, we cruising here. All right, Claw, let's see if you can get in on this. Yeah, Lauren is a badass. She is. She rides a 450. Claw, is this you? What am I looking at, Claw?
I'm not really sure.
In the back of your phone, it looks like.
Yep.
Or something. There you are. Hi, Claw.
Hey.
Thanks for joining. I know this is out of your wheelhouse, man, but I appreciate it. So are you going to give us first race or first ride?
I think I'll do like first ride because first race was kind of a blur. Like a lot of people, I don't remember it. I was so nervous.
Yeah.
One thing for sure, I've kind of seen a pattern of a lot of people had a lot of family support, friend support, people's parents, and all this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I really admire that and love hearing about that because I had zero support.
You got all the support you need now, sister.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, as an adult, it's been wonderful, but I basically popped out of the womb wanting to know how to ride. And my brother, 8 years older, was given for his 12th birthday a Trail 70, Honda Trail 70, brand new. This is old school, folks. I'm as old as LJ. And he rode it for a while. He was older than me, so it had been put up for a while. And then I was begging to learn how to ride since I was little. And so I was 7 years old, 1973. And he, against my parents' wishes, when they had gone shopping or something one day, he told me, go inside, put my cowboy boots on, and I wore his giant metal flake helmet, and he taught me how to ride.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
that particular Trail 70 for 1 or 2 years in there, 70, 71, it was what they call a K model, and it had a clutch, manual clutch, which most of those did not. So
Okay.
that was a bonus. So I learned how to shift and fully ride at 7, which I've always been super thankful for.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he supported me there, and he kind of went to bat for me when my parents were kind of upset about it. But I continued to ride that bike until I was 12, and I broke it in half because, anybody see me, I'm not a small woman. I wasn't a small kid. And so when I started jumping that thing, it was all over. And so it broke in half, saved up babysitting money, and went on to buy my first used real bike, which is an RM125. But back to the first ride, basically a lot of people got out of control, couldn't remember all the coordination and so forth, and creamed into the fence. We were in our backyard, creamed into the fence and busted it. My neighbor ran over and everybody's tripping and everything, including my brother. Actually, he was kind of freaking out that I'd gotten
because he knew he was going to be in trouble when your parents
right,
were home.
solely responsible for this. But I couldn't wait to get back on, and
Yeah.
that's it. I rode. I've had last count 41 motorcycles. I'm really into it. I heard your part of your intro, but I had to reconnect to turn my camera on for Instagram. But so I'm not sure what you said, but I think you were probably pretty close. I rode from then until 2005 and took about a 10-year break, and then got back into it slowly. But that was a lot of pounds ago, a lot of years ago, and so I'm having a hard time getting back in shape, but I'm just trying to take it all in.
There you go. You know what? Live to ride another day, right?
That's right.
Yeah, there you go, man. That's awesome. Claude, thanks so much for joining. I know this was not something you do, but dude.
Not exactly a public speaker, but yeah, this is a good one.
I'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, LJ.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, let me see. Who am I picking on now? Nathan Pogue. Nathan Pogue. I'm trying. There we go. Dead coming. All right. Hello. Okay, there we go. All right. So, I'm waiting on Nathan to join. I pushed the button like 4 times, so I don't know if he got it or not. Let's see. Nope. Still not going through. Oh, Nathan's unable to join. Okay, so, Dar, you ready? We gonna keep trying this. We're waiting for Dar. Okay, so just so y'all know, Dar!
It got in.
We got you,
Hold
man.
on.
We're looking
How
at
do
your
I?
screen.
There you
are.
go.
Hey, Dar.
Yes.
All
I
right.
had to reset my whole phone.
Dang. Well, thanks for pushing hard, because I definitely want to hear about your first riding experience, because you're a street rider, right?
Yeah, I'm a street rider. I've never raced in my life. Yet. So, okay. So I got into riding back in 2013, 14, around there. My best friend actually had a 600 at his shop that I went to a lot, and he just put me on it because I was curious and I always asked to be on it, and I always sat on it.
Yeah.
And then he just had me, clutch first gear, brake, clutch first gear, brake,
so you learned to ride on a 600?
On a 600.
Holy crap.
In a parking lot. Yeah.
Bow down.
But after, taking the safety course and whatnot, I got my first bike, and then first ride was like basically residential, because Southern California drivers don't care. Like, some do, most don't. So I was like, the scare of going out to the public and having something that weighs way more just take you over. But first ride, I think I went with him and a couple of his friends. They all had sport bikes at the time, and they just took me under their wing, and we just went riding on the freeways. We went riding on like the beach streets,
Yeah.
just to get that good energy, good flow of learning how to handle my bike. Stalled maybe a million times. Still do to this day.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I do. We call it puckering. So when you were on the highway and cars, especially larger vehicles, were passing you, did you like pucker in and get all
Yeah,
nervous?
yeah. When they started splitting lanes, because you can do that in California.
Yeah.
When they started splitting lanes, I was really scared. But then they kind of told me to go in the middle of all of them. So there's about 6 of them.
Yeah.
So I went in the middle of them, and then like, they just kept pace with me. The guys in the back like were just like, if anything came and they knew that I wasn't really well-rounded in how I looked at things, they would just honk at me.
Oh
So I
man,
just like
that's
paid attention that
awesome.
way.
That's a
Yeah.
great way to get your experience without. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then, the Bluetooth headsets start coming into play, and then,
And
we're all good now.
communication that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. All right. So what are
Then
you on right now?
I'm on a cruiser. I'm a Triumph Street Twin.
Okay.
But I just took a spill in late January, so it's still being repaired because I keep wanting to do more things, and like he's just keeping it at his shop, and it's been raining, so I don't want to go get it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So,
well, thank you so much
no
for
problem.
joining and sharing, because I've been on the street a few times, but not very much. So that's a foreign land to me. So
Then when we finally meet in person, we could switch skills.
heck yeah, definitely. We'll do a little street, do a little trail. We'll go back and forth,
Yeah.
right? All right.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
Star.
For sure.
All right, later.
All right, later.
All right, let's see. Who else do I have in the queue? Because we've got time for about one more. Lauren, Nathan, you might want to tell Instagram that it can access your camera. That might be the issue. Lauren Siebert, we're waiting on you. Y'all, this is another one of my Makeup to Mud sisters. Hey, Lauren, it's good to see you. She was there at Walden MX back in March 2019 with Liana for our Makeup to Mud segment for Supercross, and we've been friends ever since. So you're going to give us, now you just started racing, so are you going to give us first ride or first race experience?
I'm going to give you first race experience.
Okay.
So my first race was last July.
Mm-hmm.
It was at a track called Hurricane Hills in Pennsylvania. I was so nervous, like I wasn't even sure if I was going to sign up, but I had my bike with me. I was like, okay, if I decide to race, it's there. I finally signed up, and I was like, okay, maybe I should go to the chapel service. I need all the help I can get. Our prayers.
Yeah.
And then when I got down to the gate, the owner's daughter was there, and she was like trying to get me all hyped up. She was like, it's going to be okay. You're going to live. And I was like, okay, I can do this. So I did the first moto. I stalled it in the same turn 3 times on the same lap.
Yeah.
Kind of a disaster, but it was all right. I completely missed the checkered flag. I just kept going. I was so excited to be on the track riding. I was like, all right.
We're good. We're riding.
The little security guy on the pit bike had to come and find me.
Oh, you got busted.
Yeah, he's like, you missed the checkered flag. I was like, I did? And I was like, wait, I finished? So then we had to go back. And I was like, wow, I can't believe it. But I was freaking out on our group chat, and you actually called me and gave me a pep talk. So I was able to do the second moto a little calmer.
I remember that now. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. That was my first race. I've only done 2 races. So the second one wasn't pretty. It was at Walden, and I ate it pretty bad. I flipped over the bars on like the first lap, and I finished, but it was a little scary.
So back in the day, there used to be stickers for this, and we call it, oh, you're a member of the Over the Bars Club now. And sooner or later, people would hand you a sticker because you went over the bars. So
I guess it happens to everybody.
I'll have to have some of those stickers made and send you one.
Definitely.
That's awesome, man. Well, I hope everything's, you know, you guys are being safe there.